We're red.
And we're live.
Here we go. Billy.
Good morning. Good Sunday morning. I'm waiting for the rest of it because I don't know this one right now. Oh, now I do.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
You
Took me
are
a second.
completely blowing your cool card today.
I'm sorry.
Pre-episode talking about acronyms.
The past weekend at Disney, I'm still like everything's recovering. So too many times on Space Mountain, which is not. You don't say that when you're a kid, but when you're older, you're like, oh, that hurt.
Well, we'll get into Disney in a second. I do want to mention my intro here, Barry,
yes,
friend,
please.
right? Do you know why I'm playing this?
No.
Have you caught up at all to pop television at all right now?
Oh.
HBO Max, new season 4 of
What?
True Detective.
I have not seen it.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
Jodie Foster, have you watched?
You should have seen his face right now. He's disgusted with me in this moment.
Well, did you watch any of them?
No. Nope.
All right, Jen.
I'm waiting for John Oliver to put out more episodes.
John Oliver. Oh, well, that says a lot. True Detective.
Hey, that was very passive aggressive.
No. People they're nodding their heads in their car right now. They're on
like,
board
wait,
here.
we get it now. It's
no,
hilarious
this is
show.
Barry Friend is the theme song for the show.
Okay, True Detective. I'm gonna go watch it now.
And you listen to the vibe of this song. Because one of my dream jobs ever would have been to be a sync supervisor, where you watch a movie or you watch a show and you're told, pick a cool song for this. Like all the Tarantino movies, right?
Right.
Is the best. Or even Grease, right? Take your pick.
Right.
But this show, I like the darker shows too. Yeah. I don't know, just kind of disconnect with, I don't know, morbidity for some weird reason.
Well, I've kind of got a lull in the shows. I was like, oh, I gotta watch something on Disney. When I didn't have anything to watch.
Okay, so when your feral children are off to bed, you and George, do you go to Netflix first? Do you go to Hulu first? Do you go Disney Plus?
I have gone there. I like Marvel, but I like the Disney Pixar movies too. So I'll go anywhere if I can find something I can get into.
Are you sitcom based, or do you prefer?
Not really. I like series, like short series. What was the last one I just? And then they didn't have kind of sci-fi. I like sci-fi. I love stuff that's based on true stories.
Now, we grew up within a very short period of one another. Were you Star Trek or Star Wars? And there's only one right answer.
I liked both, but I was Star Trek.
Oh my God. That explains.
But hold on. Let me wait. Listen. No. I watched them all. I just didn't get why Princess Leia didn't punch that Jabba the Hutt in the face. What are we doing? Why'd you wait that long to choke him? I'd have choked him earlier and gotten out of that. Very uncomfortable
our guest is
bikini.
Second guessing the decision to go. Star Wars is. We're not.
No, I like
Let's
Star
talk
Wars.
About Disney.
I loved Harrison Ford.
Oh, everybody does.
Heck yeah.
But do you prefer him as Han Solo or Indy?
Oh.
Or Jack Ryan?
Nah, the first two. Both. I loved Indiana Jones. So I like them both.
So neutral. So Swiss.
At the same time, how I got into Star Trek was because my mom was very into The Next Generation. Jean-Luc Picard. So I would, one way to bond with her was to sit and watch with her. And then I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool show.
Really?
Yeah.
She had a thing for Jean-Luc?
I think she did.
It was the enunciation of his
Which
name.
I can kind of see. He's a sexy bald guy.
Speaking of sexy bald guys, Mickey Mouse, how was Disney?
It was, it was a great day. We had one day. We didn't go at the very opening. Kind of waited a little bit, 10-ish, whatever. Got on some stuff right away. Went to lunch in Beauty and the Beast Hall, which was great. Harper had a great time, and then we kind of had that 2 hours where the kids really realized, oh, this is what waiting looks like. And no, you don't have your phone.
No fast passes?
Let's punch you. We didn't do fast passes. Let's punch each other. And I'm like, oh, this is why we got our asses beat in line, because we acted like jack-offs because we were bored. We were so bored. So we did that. And then, but we got into the perfect place, the perfect time, right as the fireworks were done. Lined up, got to see 4 princesses, knocked those out. Harper was great. Jumped on rides super quick. That's the time, right there. Jump on those rides after the fireworks.
Yeah,
all little kids go home.
The last time we went, the nerd in me started running the numbers, right? When you go on a busy day, So you spend $250 a ticket or
I don't
100,
even,
whatever it is,
so
right?
bad. Yeah.
And you get
and not
and
to
you
mention
get to,
other shit you buy.
Yes. Well, forget about all the other shit. That's just like the 7-pound turkey legs and all the weird shit. I don't count that stuff. I'm saying for the rides. You go for the rides. The kids go for the rides.
Yes.
And they get an average of 5 rides a trip.
Kind of.
Because you're waiting 2 hours
Yes.
on peak. So when you do the math, the cost per ride, it's
Right.
insane to me.
Yeah. With our longest wait was
yeah.
an hour, and that was.
It is not the most
Space.
magical place on earth. It is the most
Yeah.
capitalistic place on.
Their faces were great, but the next day, thank God Liam is only 12 and he can roll out of bed and play a soccer game. I was like, oh, give me some ibuprofen. But something I want to point out real quick before we get to our guest is that if I've got this timed out right, the Sunday that this will drop on later this week, I encourage everybody to check out the Missouri History Museum because
Oh, big MC.
Women in Soccer is going to be there.
You're on are you panel or hosting?
I'm going to
or-
moderate it.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I don't really...
Do not admit that you're a Star Trek fan, please.
So I like them both. God, you can like them. It's abundance mindset, JB.
can.
Abundance mindset.
Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
I've watched parts of it because my oldest got into that.
Okay, and the theme of the show is a bunch of really, really smart nerds, and their favorite show is, you guessed it.
So at the women's soccer panel, by
Okay,
the
go
way,
ahead.
will
Yep.
be Lori Kolupny, Katie Shields, Shelley Clark. Like, this sounds really familiar. We've had them. I'm like, oh, did they just go to our podcast and find guests? Lindsay Kennedy Eversmeyer and Megan McCormick, who is one person I have not been able to talk to. So that is Thursday night, the 15th
You gonna guilt
of
her?
February.
Guilt her a little
I
bit?
know I'm just going to get her booked.
Oh, there
That's
you
what I'm
go.
going to do.
Well, congratulations to you
Thank
for
you.
being asked to.
I don't really know how to MC. I know how, or to moderate. I know how to moderate throwing somebody's ass out of a soccer game.
You should put a.
I know how to
you should put
moderate
a-
my children.
You should put a little earbud in,
Yeah.
and have Jared in the back of the room.
Telling me what to
Bertrand?
do,
Yep.
what's that
Play-by-play.
movie? What's that movie with the guy with the big nose and
Cyrano.
he can be my Cyrano de
Yep.
Bergerac.
Yeah. Well,
I think I'd get kicked out.
yes, you would.
So
All
I want to welcome our guest. So we've got a twofer for this one. Which if you guys have listened in the audience, this will bring you back to Kate and Alex Pfeiffer. So we'll welcome in Lauren and Katie Seppi. Lauren's the daughter, Katie's the mother. Say hello.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So there's something I have here for you on the back of my chair. And
While she's pulling that
I
out,
found-
Lauren, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Don't let
Yes,
him bully
yes,
you.
yes.
Don't let him bully you.
Mom, anybody willing to step up?
The Star
Let me
Trek
say
is
it.
so new, or Star Wars is so new with the new
Okay.
movies that have come out.
We're both
I still
probably
like it.
kind of neither. Yeah.
Oh,
I watched Mandalorian. I love that. Baby Yoda is adorable.
Yeah. So cute.
I would love to have
Grogu.
him.
So cute.
Grogu is
Grogu.
awesome. Awesome.
Okay. What's the guess? What's the gift?
So
What do we got?
Because I think this is tee up. This should look
Aw.
familiar to you.
Oh.
Lauren, could you tell me? And
My.
Lauren, can you tell me what this is? Lauren Seppi.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is my.
You got to explain it for our listeners because they can't see.
This is my size 4 Nike soccer ball. It's white and black, and I colored only one of like the panels pink. But this
So
is
you can
from-
find it.
So I can find it.
And
this
we
is from when I
stole
was-
it.
and
You
which
did?
is why you
family
couldn't
has-
find it.
My family must have had. I've seen that damn ball around
It's
forever.
white.
So I'm like, who colored it pink? But it's just been out in the backyard, and finally,
Oh.
it got kicked towards me, and I picked it up, and I was like, oh, that's Lauren's. We stole it over at Queen of All Saints years ago. There's your ball
That is
bag.
so cute. It says my name. Oh my gosh.
So for anybody
Wow.
who has lost a soccer ball, one of your friends has it.
Yeah.
Katie, I'm sorry.
So,
That's okay. We probably bought more.
well, you two will appreciate this. How many times have you been out at the fields, Gallagher in particular, or any field where there's
Any big field.
hundreds of balls everywhere,
yeah.
and you get to the end of practice, and your child is the one like, I don't know where my ball
Yeah,
is.
right.
With the first kid, you're always like, no, we're gonna find it.
That's right.
Second kid, you're like, we're gonna spend a little bit of time. Third kid, you're like, just take somebody's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for
And you're
sure.
like, get out.
It'll
there.
get even.
Yeah.
It'll get even.
because somebody took yours.
I
So
should
that's how this
I
math
should have
works.
brought you an extra ball because I'm sure we have stolen other people's.
love it.
So,
It's the
so
best
I,
gift.
I was just like, I tossed it in the back of the van
Oh.
once we booked this, and
Yeah.
I'm like, just remember to give her the ball. Give her the ball. Give her the ball. It's hers. It's not
I
ours.
love it.
So
Funny,
we're sorry.
She did color it pink so she could hers stood out from everyone
Right.
else's.
It's like
so that she
it's
could
like,
find
you
it.
know, we had luggage coming off of, you know, I had one checked bag for me and Harper and all the, you know, toiletries you can't check through. And, you know, the smart people marked their bags and so a ribbon or whatever. That was really smart.
Yeah.
We just didn't care and we stole it anyway.
It's okay.
It was in some soccer ball bag. So to paint the picture here of Lauren, I want to just like take ourselves back a little bit. So George and I lived in Oakville for 19 years, and you guys are an Oakville family, queen of all sports. I mean, queen of all
yeah.
saints.
Yep.
You know, Oakville, Melville High School, and the places around there, and met each other, I'm pretty sure, on a soccer field.
Mm-hmm.
You and Georgie were actually, my oldest, were in kindergarten class together.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgie immediately took to, you guys were pretty good friends, and because I remember your mom, Katie, you and I talking, she's a tomboy, you know, that it's a class. I was like, I see her. I used to, you know, it's you also, Katie.
Yes.
You're like, so mom Katie was also a tomboy.
Back in the day,
Back
yes,
in the
probably
day?
I was some.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we had a preemie at home, and I remember she would go to your house and play soccer in the backyard, and you would take her after school, you know, and stuff like that. So it was like a good connection right
Yeah,
away.
and you're not remotely competitive. I mean, mom's not. It's dad, right? Wait, is it both, Lauren?
It's both. It's all of us. It's like, it's crazy. It's
Well,
all of
Because you're
us.
the oldest,
family
right?
family Uno night. Which of your mom and dad are worse?
Oh. My dad gets into it.
There.
He likes to say he's undefeated, and then when we beat him, he
Yeah, I've
just
seen him on the
loses it.
sideline
Yeah,
at Queen
just
as a coach. I'm
loses
like,
it.
whoa,
Yeah.
Seppi, dial
Yeah.
it down a notch. God, Mike.
Yeah.
But also, I'm the same way. So game sees game.
Yeah.
So just seeing you, you know, kind of whether you went to Queen or you went to my kids went to public school, you would usually find many of us having concession stand meals at Queen. They have actually a really nice little kind of complex when it comes to fields. There's tons of field space. And nights where you can basically just let your kids play on the playground, play some soccer, and adults can gather at the concession stand for Friday
just
Night
say it.
Lights we sort of
Say
had
it.
for a
Oh,
while.
yeah.
Drink beer.
The drink beer.
Say it. There we go.
Like good Catholics, we drunk beer. And yeah. So and you know, just kind of knowing like what kind of sports did you play? Like you're that classic all sport athlete. Especially as you guys were little.
Right. Yeah. So honestly, like all throughout my grade school and like even like preschool, kindergarten, like grade school, everything, I was always like, I played everything.
I was gonna say, you were basketball?
Yeah, basketball, volleyball, soccer, softball was thrown in
Did
there.
that, okay.
Yeah, it was everything. And I would say, I think basketball and soccer were always my favorite. And I ended up playing basketball in high school too. But yeah, even like as a kid, like I wanted to be in every sport. I just love competition.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to compete. Like I didn't care what it was. And like I was always going to push myself. Like I would be 7 years old and like be as running hard as I could on a soccer field at Queen.
I was gonna say, and she played, you know, she covered and would for some of the boys, you know, and stuff
for
like
sure.
that for the teams, and then she kind of got into running also, and wasn't doing it competitive.
Yeah, Georgie
but
would
she
be
would
like,
go,
Lauren's
yes.
mean. Like,
Sorry,
good for her.
Jenny.
Kick his
You
ass,
know,
Lauren.
started running in a few races here and there, and
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like that. But it wasn't like she was training for it. It was just she was training for all her other sports. So running became easy for
Yeah,
her.
yeah. When did so to kind of bring it forward? You played obviously for Queen, in the CYC world. When did club happen? And I say club because that's what you kids use
Right.
nowadays. But we called select, but you know, probably at Gallagher, right? I'm thinking.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
so-
where you are now.
Yes, it is. I
All
played
Gallagher
yes,
all the time.
Gallagher
Okay.
my whole life. I started playing club in 4th grade, which was 2016. So it's been
That's kind of late
Yes, yes, it
anymore
is.
nowadays,
Mhm.
right?
I had to beg my parents. I remember this because I'm the oldest, and like obviously
Katie's
they didn't have
face.
they didn't have a kid before me playing any club sports, so I had to beg them to let me play for Gallagher.
So go ahead, Mom.
yeah.
Respond.
I want to say
Yeah.
something.
So I knew someday she would, you know, we'd let her try out, but I was more nervous about her getting burned out if she started playing too young. So in like 4th grade, she went to, I think, 3 kick-arounds, and then we let her choose which team, and it worked out for her. So it's been perfect.
Wow.
So going leading up to that that process, she was playing multiple sports. How old were your others at the time? Were they all engaged in sport at the same time too, or?
Well, they were younger because we have one that was probably in like first grade, and Colin probably wasn't even started playing sports yet. But it's kind of, we knew they'd all get involved and things along those lines.
Were you and your husband soccer fans to begin with? Did you play? Did he play? Was it kind of a predestined path to soccer, or was it her decision?
It was totally her decision. Mike and I both played in like CYC through 8th grade.
Where everybody going to know?
Our Lady of Sorrows.
Okay.
In South City.
They're cheaters, but whatever, it's fine.
So we were both played up until 8th grade, and then we kind of moved on to other things. I wanted her to be a basketball player, but soccer was always the one pulling her and things like that. So that's where she went.
So let me ask you then, playing all the multiple sports and your parents kind of like being neutral to a degree, at what point did you know this is the game, this is the sport, this is what I love?
Yeah, I think it was really, I'd say, like, obviously I started playing club in 4th grade, so I would say something in me just kind of clicked even as a 4th grader that was like, I know I'm different, and I know that this could be something that like I want to pursue. And obviously just like my passion for the game, and like coaches, even when I was young, like telling me like I need to do this, and like I'm good enough to be on a select team, obviously even at that age. It was just kind of in me. I always knew. I always wanted to do more than everybody else, even when we were in 4th grade. It was just kind of always that thing. And, the love for the game, I was willing to give up everything else. And I think that was kind of just
Sounds
the
familiar, JB.
biggest thing.
Heard it. I've heard that.
And to paint the picture for our listeners too, so Lauren Seppi, not only being a Gallagher player, but part of that pretty, I would call him kind of famous, 2006, I'm thinking of my kids, 2006 ECNL champions. So we're talking, Grace Restovich, I know, and you are really good friends. And there's a few other names. Like if I saw the picture of you guys, I would know. But a really successful team. It's been pretty successful almost the whole time, but kind of culminating finally into winning it all. How's that? Like, how did that go? How did your journey go from, when you get on there and you're Friday Night Lights and you're just kicking around and you're trying to find your place and the club's trying to find your place, to winding up on the top team in your age bracket? Right.
So, yeah, I would say definitely kind of in 4th grade, it kind of all started for me. And when I was in 4th grade, I actually was playing on an 05 team. They were a year older than me, and I was very small when I was young. You probably remember that.
Now
I
you say that.
She
is not now. She's taller than me. Not fair.
I was very short, very small. And so I was playing on a classic 05 team as my first team.
I forgot those names.
Yep,
they had classic. And what was the other one? Classic and competitive or something?
Premier Elite. Yeah,
okay,
all of them. Yeah, so I was at that age where we were just, on a classic team. And then next year moved up to Elite, which at that point was like the highest you could go just in your age group. Went to Elite, then obviously moved up to ECNL, which then became the highest, and then have been on ECNL ever since then. I started ECNL in 7th grade, we think. I think that was like the age where you could obviously kind of start it. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think in my mind, I always just knew. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I wanted to pursue with my life. And that's something, obviously, like, if you hear a 4th grader telling you you think they're going to play soccer the rest of their life, you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. But for me, it was
maybe
always
not
just
anymore
like,
nowadays.
For me, I just knew exactly what I wanted to do. And, just moving up through Gallagher, obviously, Gallagher completely made me who I am. They built me from the ground up, took a very tiny 4th grader and made me into
tiny and fast. I will say, fast.
Made me into the player that I am today. So yeah, it's been a long journey.
And you're a lefty too, right? Besides being a quick little lefty. So you see that little ponytail bouncing around out there. I was like, there's Lauren Seppi. Yep. Oh, she just kicked my son's butt. Yeah, go girl.
Let me ask to both of you, whoever wants to answer first is great. Because you were with kind of the same core crew,
right.
The same girls that are obviously, reaching the highest highs right now. Through that process, did you realize, to you, Mom, or you as a player, that, my friends are really good too? That was there built in, was it camaraderie? Was it more competition? Did you feed off of each other? Was there animosity? You know, because there's the viewpoint of parents that watch this happen in real time, and then there's you as the child that went through it. So whoever wants to go first.
I think it was kind of awesome because this group, when they started traveling and getting to national events and things like that, the families even would hang out together and would go out to dinners and kind of be there to support each other. And then the girls were friends and they would do their own thing.
Is that code for hang out in lobbies?
Yeah. Hang out in lobbies, hang out on the patio, and literally anywhere they could go.
We have to discuss logistics.
I like how you kind of laid that out there.
But we would, you know, and then the girls would do things even when we were in St. Louis as a group and would do movies or things along those lines, dinners, just to build friendships. And
I would say, I think the biggest thing for me is like my team, like we just love each other, like we do at the end of the day. Like I like have gotten that obviously like asked this question a lot just because of everything that's kind of happened the past few years, and like when I get asked to talk about it, it just makes me like want to smile, because when I think about my team and when I think about the girls, like they just bring me so much joy, and like we bring each other joy, and just being around each other like every day, like we get better. We do. We push each other to the limit, but we also know like at the end of the day, like we're people and we're gonna mess up and we're gonna make mistakes, but it's just our friendships, like we're so close.
How did you get there? Did you know, like, did it kind of happen accidentally, or is it something, because we know, right? Teams, you don't have to be best friends.
Right.
You don't always get along, but how do you get that kind of synergy?
Yeah, so I'd say obviously I believe that kind of when we were younger, kind of like growing up in ECNL, like the first or second year, you obviously go through adversity. You know, somebody gets in a fight, we lose a game.
Somebody might take your spot for a while. That
yes,
sucks.
we lose a game, you know, somebody just has a bad day. So obviously when you're that age, it's kind of hard to understand your emotions and kind of grasp all of that. But I really believe as we've grown up, as we've grown up together, we've learned how to deal with each other, and we learned what the other person needs, and we learned what we need, and I think we're just so good at understanding that, and we're so good at just kind of like being each other's best friends, and also knowing that like at the end of the day, like if you ever need anything, like you could call anyone on our team, and we all know that. So yeah.
I was going to add to it. No, it's kind of funny because they have grown over these few years, but there's like 5 of them that kind of started together back when they were so much younger and everything. And they've done a wonderful job of actually bringing in, when new players have joined this team, they've kind of welcomed them and made them feel like, okay, you're a part of us now. Come on, this is how we do it and what we do. And it made it a good transition.
Is it the same, I'm curious, on the parent sideline? Because I feel like sometimes what you find on the pitch is sometimes mirrored on the parent sideline. If you've got a tight parent sideline that's very inclusive and very welcoming, you might find that on the field. Is that related at all?
No, I feel like it is. Everyone feels comfortable and is able to speak their mind, is able to kind of cheer on their daughters and watch them kind of reach their dreams.
The opposite is true too, though. We see it all the time, where if you do have a new individual that comes into the mix and the player is not toxic, maybe they're just super confident, maybe in a little bit of a negative way, that does tend to come from the top. And the parents generally, I always liken it to, like cartoons when we were all kids. When the person had a dog, the dog always looked like the owner, right? I mean, that's, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's not untrue.
And on soccer fields, I see the same thing in the players and the kids. And I think that, because I've been around the club for a long time too, and I've known about your guys' team, followed it. You guys had this thing, this je ne sais quoi, right? This culture, and the coaching staff knew it, and the other families, they just wanted to be part of it. Is that starting to kick in for you, that what you guys have just went through, this path and the national championships, like it's not just, hey, we were a good team, yay, you guys were special. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I would say I think I finally started realizing it. I'd say it was 2 years ago now, so kind of the year leading up to when we won our first national championship. It was everything just started clicking. And it wasn't just like we were doing good on the field. We were making plays. We were scoring goals. It was just like mentally with each other we were clicking, and the parents were clicking. And they're like, our parents are some of the closest people I've ever met. Like, I know, like, they're all of our parents, like, at the end of the day. And for us, I think really kind of winning the first one was just one of those things that, I mean, I still remember as a kid, like, writing in kindergarten, like, what I want to be when I'm older. And it was, like, always soccer player. And when I look back and I think about that 5-year-old that had those dreams, and it's like, I just wish I could have told her that, like, it's coming and you're going to do it. And, like, it's going to be hard, but you're going to do it and you're going to get there. And obviously, like, my team, it's just special. Like, there's no other word to describe it than it's just special. It's just, we're family.
You're heading tonight,
Yeah.
as a recording, over to senior night at Gallagher, because soon you're not going to be
Yes.
all together. And what does a night like that look like? And I'm assuming that you guys know what that means, right? It's kind of like it's an end of an era, so to speak.
Yeah, so we had our first senior night was in December, and it was like our last home game at the park, and this was just my team, and it was very emotional. It was very full circle. It was one of the best.
I think Mom's about to start crying right now.
I saw your post,
I'm tearing
too.
up.
Yeah,
I'm
I saw your
tearing
post.
up. It's just one of those things where, you get put in a position like a senior night to look back and be able to remember everything and to remember what you did. And, we walk into the locker room, and we each have our own locker that's all decorated in the college that we're going to. And they put up, like, our baby pictures from when we played soccer. And it just,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And it just
Okay, I need a moment. Oh, jeez.
It's just all you can think about is, like, I wish, like, I could have told her what was coming. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm going to start crying.
Yeah.
Well, let me help you out here and break a little of the kumbaya moment. You guys are about to enter into the next phase. There's a good chance and a reality that you will be facing these individuals in the near future.
Yep.
What's that like amongst you going into your freshman years, getting
Right.
ready to leave?
Yeah, so I personally am going to the University of Illinois, so I will be in the Big Ten. And there's 4 other girls on my team that are also going to be in the Big Ten, so we already go at it.
You're already trash talking.
Oh, yeah, we're already trash talking. We got girls that'll be playing in the ACC against each other, the SEC against each other. We all go at it already. We're ready to go. We already have the schedules. We know when we're playing each other. Yeah, we know what's coming.
How much road traveling you got in your near future here, Mom?
So we've been talking about it. We're going to go the Illinois games because it is close enough. We can probably make all of those or almost all of those. Now, some of the further ones, it will depend. And some of them might just be my husband and I, and maybe not our brothers for all of them. But we plan on attending as many games as we can. So,
That's awesome.
So I'm bringing back to, I want to switch over to kind of a twofold thing, because when you and I started, but I'd never worked with you. I never got a chance to coach you. I didn't have a kid that age, but I knew of you and, of course, your parents, and started to work with you on the mindset part of the game. And one of the things that we talk through, as you know, is high school ball. I mean, high school ball and playing on a club like Gallagher at that level, ECNL, their top team. And first of all, so take you back to May 18th of 2023. Lauren Seppi scores an Olympico you beat St. Joseph
Yes.
Academy?
Yeah.
St. Joe, to get, help you propel yourself forward. So this lefty scores an Olympico. I remember seeing that online and, like, sending a picture and being like, oh my God. And you and I haven't really had the need to work on the mindset
Right.
portion of the game since then. But, like, what was that like? And because I remember a story you told me. You remember, and you sent me a picture of, was it the year prior?
I remember this so vividly.
How-
I know
so you
exactly
tell me
what
the
I'm gonna
story.
send
You know, right, go.
I know exactly what. Okay, so this was my freshman year of high school. I've been
At
lucky
Nerinx,
enough, yes,
right,
at
right.
Nerinx High School. I've been lucky enough to be on varsity all 4 years. So I started as a freshman, played as many minutes as I could. We made it to the state final my freshman year, and we ended up losing in just regular time. And there is a picture of right after the whistle blew. It's me sitting on the ground, and in front of me you can see the whole St. Dominic team running onto the field after they beat us. And
I mean, it is soul crushing.
it is like, I would like put that in a museum if I could. Like, it just like completely shows soccer.
I'm finding it for JB right now. So you can see Lauren is number 9, sitting on the field in despair. And, of course, St. Dom is running on as to congratulate their teammates. And you and I were kind of working through and how important pursuing that on the high school side was for you. And once again, I think you guys got to the final, right, in this last time. And who edged you out?
We lost to St. Dominic my freshman and sophomore year in the state final, and then my junior year this year we lost to Liberty North in the state final from Kansas City. Yeah.
So are you making another play?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's comeback season.
So senior year. So we may be talking.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna need you.
But one of the things that we talked through a lot of things, right? We talked from anywhere. So Lauren has a nickname, JB. I think it's Hammer. It's Lauren Lightening Seppi. So of course, if this sticks, Lauren, I have to say it because there were entire teams that dedicated groups to talking trash about you. Yeah. Brayton, you only talk trash about people who make your life a living nightmare on the field.
Well, you don't talk about people that you don't fear,
right?
Because there's no joy in that.
But we talked a little bit through that because when you're young, I mean, even now, I think I would struggle with that a little bit. You're young; it's hard to be that player that everybody would love to have on your team, but has to hate you when you're on the other. And like they have this group dedicated to hating Lauren Seppi, Lauren Lightning Seppi, right? For the best reasons. But that's a hard thing to process, I think. Mom, you might even be able to speak with that. It's a hard thing to process to be hated on like a pro would be, but at a young age.
Right. And it just kind of... It took her a little bit to realize why it was being done and to realize, hey, that's okay. I can get over this and I can move on and I can just play the best I can and see what happens and kind of move from there.
I think I told you, Lauren, I on my last training with Lufew's Girls Academy, I got a couple sessions, and with the later sessions, it was the older girls. So they're 2005s and 2006s. And your name came up and I immediately see people like roll their eyes, but in being like, oh God, yes. Like, right. And I was like, hey, she's one of mine. And they're like, okay, she's just really good. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Funny. It definitely, I like that. How do I say this? I like when people talk because it gives me motivation. And it's like, okay, like you want to talk? Like, okay, I can prove you wrong.
Let me ask you a question. Is that photo of you sitting on the field, is that kind of like, because I've been there. I know exactly what you went through way back when. Is that something that will be a permanent motivator for you through your career? And let me add the two together. You thrive off of the shit talk. Let's call it what it is. So do you think that if somebody were to ask you, hey, can you define yourself as a player? Do you lead with that kind of mindset? Like, I hate to lose? Or how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I would say
in those terms.
I would say definitely that photo, I think, kind of lit a different fire in me. That was my freshman year. I mean, I was 14 playing against 18-year-olds who were twice my size. And so for me, that just lit a fire in me, and knowing that, like, if I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, or if I wanted to play in college, I needed to do something that nobody else was going to do, and I needed to work harder than anybody else was going to. And at the end of the day, like, yes, I hate to lose more than anyone, but also there's such a part of me that just loves soccer, that just loves the game and loves being on the field and loves being in the environment where I know I'm going to get pushed, and I know, but at the end of the day, like, I know it's making me better. I do.
You know, not, go ahead, Mom.
No, I was just going to say,
Go.
she does, since for many, many years, has done extra trainings, has worked out with other people to get more practices, to get more touches. And it's, she is giving up her time that should be free time, to put herself in better situations. So.
And I think, too, if you guys don't mind sharing, is when I was so excited to work with you. I remember we met at Las Fuentes in Oakville. It was good. I hadn't been there in a while. But brought me in to help Lauren work through some pretty stressful parts. I mean, the game is beautiful and it's great, but you also are a high performer in school. I think you largely expect a ton from yourself. It doesn't matter what you're doing, right? You take that type A personality, plus you're gifted and you're athletic, and it can be beautiful, and it can be also the cause for a lot of need for Pepto-Bismol for an adult, and that you guys engaged, with me to say, like, this is some stuff we wanted to work on. I know you were willing with it too, but do you mind sharing like what came up with that and what you wanted to work on and how that came about?
Let's do this. Let's save that for the break. For when we come back, we're going to take a quick break.
I didn't know we had breaks now.
We do have breaks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you'll find out in just a second. But thank you. We'll be right back. We're going to follow up with that question, and I definitely want to talk to you about the recruiting process with your friends, what that's like. That'll be on the flip side. We'll be right back. Soccer Mom Sunday.
Honestly, I thought that I would be dead by now.
The term staycation was really invented by soccer moms. Located 1 hour and 7 minutes from the Arch, the Music Box Chalet at Innsbruck is a hidden gem. Buried in 3 acres of private woods, the Music Box has a master suite for just you, a loft and second bath for them, and a vinyl collection to meet your every mood. The full-size kitchen will easily accommodate 3 to 12 bottles of rosé, while the huge fire pit seating area will keep the big kids busy. Golf, fishing, kayaking, pickleball, or simply reading a book with Mother Nature, all at your fingertips. Visit either VRBO or Airbnb to find the Music Box Chalet.
Man, we've graduated to breaks. Sweet.
You like that?
Woot woot.
It also gives us time for a refill.
Drink refill is awesome. So back Soccer Mom Sunday, Mellow Mushroom in Sunset Hills, by the way, because again, which is going to be responsible for dinner tonight. Thank you, Mellow Mushroom.
Their happy hour is pretty killer too.
It's really good. Yeah, I mean, the girls and I are typical sausage and pepperoni, but I decided to try the buffalo chicken for the boys. It sounded, it looks like it should be good. I don't usually.
Do you
like
guys
that.
not have like actual veggies on your pizzas?
No.
Oh.
No fruit.
Star Trek and no veggies.
Okay, listen. I watched Star Wars. Get off my back. Me and Chewbacca were all that. I didn't. Yeah. Chewie. Oh, Chew. Was that how he sounded?
I didn't hear that. Could you do that again?
No.
Okay.
Delete.
All right, here we go.
Okay, we're back with Lauren Seppi and Katie Seppi. And I think as we were going to the break, because I didn't remember, we were just talking a little bit about kind of how you engaged with me, like knowing you as a little girl for years, and then being like, I can't believe I'm going to work with Lauren Seppi and work on the mind part of the game. And not just mindset, like not just what I'm thinking on the field, but kind of also how that translates to school. So I would be very comfortable. I'm going to get nods here. You're type A personality. You expect a ton out of yourself no matter what you're doing. And that is good, but it also carries an immense amount of stress. And then to watch that as a parent, I have those myself, Katie, that, you can be appreciative of them, but also being like, I don't want them to have an ulcer. I don't want them to go, to hurt from that kind of expectation.
Right, and so it's
how did you and Mike decide to say hey, we need to address this in a different way?
Right. We just wanted her to be the best that she could, and we always told her as long as she tries, that we're fine with that. And she had the mindset where you were saying, she wanted to be the best, and she wanted to prove everyone wrong, and things like that. And so we just kind of, I guess, talked to you somewhere, and you had said, you talk to athletes, and so we thought it might be a good fit for her to just hear someone else besides us saying,
that's another one,
someone
right?
else saying, hey, it's okay if you make a mistake. Everyone still loves you, and, it's good to do your best, and everyone can, move along with that. So
yeah, and I think that, Lauren, if you don't mind me mentioning, at the time, like for anybody listening, especially if you got, kids who are, I just had a 12-year-old come off of E64. It's funny, E64, which is like the highway, right? But we play in Orlando.
But I keep thinking you're talking about Nintendo 64.
Is E64? I thought it was like a highway thing. I don't know what it is.
I thought it was
I don't understand that league.
System.
But, came off of new team, really rough 3 games, lost them all. Did a few good things, but they have a long way to go. That you're on this top team, but it hasn't all been easy sailing for you, even with your gifts athletically. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges? I mean, that Are you your own enemy at times?
Yeah, I would definitely
That's
say...
a loaded question because I know
for
you are.
sure. Yeah, she knows. She's trying to get me to admit it.
I am.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we saw your face talking about
Yeah.
the photo, and like,
You were
okay.
showing your photo to JB, and she's like, I'm going to call her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say I think it kind of, when I got to high school, and obviously with playing high school soccer, it is so different than club. It is. You're surrounded by people, you're playing with people who we're all at different levels.
And by the way, Nerinx is a
Yes.
very good
Yes.
soccer school. Usually year upon year, they're pretty talented.
Yeah, we're lucky enough. I think our starting lineup last year, almost everyone was playing soccer in college, which was incredible and awesome to be a part of. But yeah, I would say I think when kind of high school hit, I realized that there was such more to the game than just the physical aspect, that like the mental piece of it was also such a big thing that I just hadn't been self-aware about, and self-aware in the fact that like I was being too hard on myself and I was striving so much for perfection, and it was something that I was like literally like mentally just destroying myself over, because if I wasn't perfect, if I didn't score a goal, if I didn't complete the correct pass, whatever it was, in my brain.
And by the way, you could have a great rest of your game, but
Yeah.
you would fixate on
Yep.
that if I remember correctly.
Yes, I would go back and I would rewatch film over and over and over again, just looking at things that I needed to get better on, or things that I did wrong. And then when I would find those things, then I'd go out and I would train on them for hours, just train on those exact things to get better at them, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it and to prove to the people around me that I could do it. But yeah, I would say kind of my sophomore year, it kind of all started getting, definitely I was becoming very hard on myself, because junior year is obviously when the recruiting process starts. So I knew kind
You
of
were
like...
very focused on June
Yes,
15th,
I
if I remember.
I was. It was the day. Yeah. So yeah,
As mom's face just goes
Yeah.
cringe. Like, oh my God.
that date, it can
I
be
have
scary.
many texts between you and I, and
Yeah.
the leading up to what can happen, what
Yep.
might not happen, how your world doesn't end if it doesn't happen that day,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Can I back you up just a little bit? Because I think that this is really, really important for kids that potentially other players that will listen to this, and parents as well. For you, because you're laying out a tale of two cities here, in so much that you're uber competitive, you do not like to lose, and at the same time you admitted the kind of the landscape difference between high school and the club,
Right.
and specifically the team that you were on. And off the mic at the break, you mentioned, there was only like 4 of us that really played high school. How did you balance making that decision, being as competitive as you are,
Right.
to consciously make the decision to go to a team that arguably, in your own words, is going to be tougher, with kind of a larger divergence of talent
Right.
overall? How did you balance that within yourself?
Yeah, I would say it kind of obviously in 8th grade, when I was kind of looking at high schools and everything, and I ended up choosing Nerinx, like soccer was always a very high priority of mine. Obviously a great school, but at the same time, like a good athletic program and a soccer program was very important to me. And so once freshman year, springtime came around and it was time to kind of decide if I was going to play high school or not, I had a lot of self-reflection. I had a lot of talks with my club coaches, with Brian, with you, like with everybody around me, just kind of seeing like, why not? Let's try it out. Why not? And if it doesn't go well, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it next year. But for me, there was just this sense of like, why not? Like, try it. Like, let's just see what happens. If you love it, you love it. And if you don't, that's okay. Obviously, kind of like what you said, there's only, I think there's only 4 of us on my club team that play high school, 4 or 5. And for us, we really just look at it as a time to just get better as a person. I look at, if I could tell you kind of the difference between club and high school in my brain, club soccer, I'm getting better as a player. High school soccer, I'm getting better as a person. Because in high school soccer, I'm forced to be in a position where I have to be a leader. And where in my head...
So let me pause you real quick, because there's a whole bunch of high school coaches listening to this that are just cheering.
Losing their minds,
They're losing their minds
in the
right
best
now.
way.
I'm super impressed at how you are cognizant of that. When you were going through it, at what point though did you realize this is not about soccer. This is about me as a human,
Right.
as a leader, as a teammate.
I would honestly say my freshman year, playing high school soccer, I still remember Mackenzie Duff, who's now at Clemson, who's a junior at Clemson. She plays there. Sydney Smith, who's also a junior. She's at Illinois State. Both incredible players. They were the captains of my team freshman year. Having them to look up to gave me so much inspiration in knowing that like I can be that one day and I can get there one day, and just being self-aware in the fact that at the end of the day, like, I know that in high school soccer, it's going to be hard and it's not going to be easy, and we're probably going to lose games. Everybody's at different levels, but at the same time, for me, high school soccer is and still it will always be just a place that the joy comes back. The joy of it, the love of it, the heart. I feel content when I'm on the field. I feel like a different version of myself when I get to put on the Nerinx jersey. It's one of those things where obviously the pressure isn't as high, so you get to be fully and authentically yourself. And kind of like what we talked about earlier, in my club team, I'm a center back, I'm an outside back. In high school soccer, I'm a center forward. So it's really just, I've been able to be...
I remember you working through that.
Oh, yeah. I've been able to just be so kind of like, what's the word? I've been able to be so many different things, be so many different positions, be at a point in my life where I was a freshman with girls 4 years older than me, and I got to look up to them. But at the same time, I got to be on the field with them, and I got to play with them. And so that, for me, really just made me kind of into the person I am today. And honestly, I would say through high school soccer, I've learned that it's so much more than just a game. It's so about the mental side. It's so about just mentally being able to obviously create relationships, become a better version of yourself. And I mean, I do owe
Deal
a lot.
with failure. I'm
deal with it all.
scrolling.
We're gonna have to put this one behind a paywall.
Yeah,
and like make
this is
some
amazing.
car payments on this.
I am scrolling. I'm scrolling texts back and forth, right? That you and I had. I've never deleted it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Because we worked together for so long, and it was an amazing part of working with somebody that was at your level, and also I could see a little bit of me in her. Mom, I bet you could see you in her too, and just looking like just a text from me to you saying, play for you today, then play for your team. That is it. Mm-hmm. And I think at the time you were going through a few physical issues too, like something was injured. Failure. We worked on, it has to be part of the process. We can simultaneously hate it while at the same time using it. And that was something I think that I saw grow exponentially in you in that time. You still don't love it. Like nobody loves to off that play. Mm-hmm. At the same time, we don't have to get stuck on it for the rest of the game. Would you say that's the thing, or were there other things that came out from the mindset portion that you use now, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I would say, honestly, I look at our texts all the time too, which is really funny you say that. I do.
Except those pictures of you when at the end, we skip over the state
maybe we don't look at those. Yeah, don't look at the state final pictures. But yeah, I would say, honestly, kind of putting myself, when I think about who I was as a freshman on varsity, I think about someone who was so scared to fail. And I think part of it obviously was because I was playing with girls 4 years older than me. But there was also such a part of it that was like, I just want to prove to myself that I can do it. And I want to prove to the people around me. And like at the end of the day, like I know how many conversations we had just saying like, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Like it just comes down to yourself. And just, I now, as a senior, looking back at that girl who was a freshman, I want to give her a hug and just be like, it's going to be okay. Like, it is. And at the end of the day, like, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. High school soccer is you're going to find the joy again. And, yeah, yesterday we had our first open tryout, or our first open field for high school. On the Nerinx field. The sun was out in the first time, and however, in 2 weeks probably, it's 60 degrees. I was like, this is the happiest place in the world. Like, this is amazing. And just seeing those freshmen out there, and now me being the senior, it's like, I just hope they can love it and find the joy again and not put so much pressure on themselves and just find the joy.
Mom has nodded this whole time.
Let me ask you an impossible question, but for the sake of good radio. Mm-hmm. Let's fast forward to the end of the spring here. You walk away with state title. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to that game.
I think I might go too.
We could do a podcast from that.
Live stream.
So
right.
let's say you get that one. Mm-hmm. 10 years from now, national championship or state title?
Oh my God.
We've kind of people have
Yeah.
joked about
Lauren
this.
is like,
People have
yes.
joked about this.
Yes, please.
Both, all of the above.
Well, I know,
she's
I
not
mean,
picking.
it's- look, I mean,
Yeah.
we're all competitive,
Right.
so I know it's gone
Right.
through your head because
Yeah.
as a player, you want all the cups.
Right.
But from a process standpoint, and when you look at your team and you look at your teammates and you look at expectations, look, let's not kid ourselves. The team you guys had at Gallagher, if you didn't win that national championship, to a degree, that would have been a disappointment.
Yep.
Going into your senior year, knowing that there's been speed bumps, the expectation is to get there, but not. It's not as if everybody's going to be distraught if you don't.
Right.
Yes, you'll be disappointed.
Right.
Do you look at those two things in the reality and through the lens of team expectation, personal expectation, and what would it mean to you to win it?
Oh my goodness, that just like gave me the chills. I would say really, obviously, national championship, any day. I know in my heart, and I believe it fully with every piece of me, that I am the player that I am because of Gallagher. Completely, 100%. I love that club. I do, with every bit of myself. I owe it all. I really do. And, you know, just being able to kind of reflect, obviously, with a lot happening during senior year, just senior night, all of the emotions, all the feelings, everything. It really, I've been able to really just reflect and I just have so much gratitude in my heart for the people that have helped me along the journey, the people that have been there, my coaches, from my first ever Gallagher coach to now Ralph and Scotty and everybody in between. They really have, they've helped me develop so much. And obviously, like, I'm playing college soccer because of Gallagher and because of the opportunities I've had there and because our team has been so successful and because I worked for it, and I did. I think I would definitely, I do owe it to Gallagher for sure. It, just a national championship, it's one of those things that, I mean, I remember being a freshman and seeing girls commit for college and seeing them, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, she won a national championship, so like, she's going D1, she's doing this, and now I get to be that person, and it's very hard to wrap my head around to accept the fact that, like, I did what I dreamed of, and I'm only gonna hopefully continue to do what I dream of.
Yeah, I mean, anymore, it was funny because I think you pointed out a little bit earlier before we took the break about, you know, you got a fourth grader maybe saying, like, this is what I want to do. Maybe that's weird. And it's kind of like, no, it's actually not weird anymore. It's weird, Katie, at the time, you know,
Right.
JB, we were growing up, like, there was really no path. But now, you know, we have yourself on. I'm working on Restovich and her mom, Michelle McCarthy, so you put in a good word for me.
will.
And we had Alex Pfeiffer on, who decided to go the pro route, which wasn't even a thing. Is that something that you look to as well? And you know, also call out that we need more teams, but in NWSL. But is that something that you allow yourself to ponder after
for
college?
sure. So obviously Alex and Grace happened, this is really funny you say that, they happen to be two of my literal favorite people, best friends in the world. Grew up with Alex my whole life, as
who
you know.
goes one way,
Yep.
and like yourself, Grace is going the other way to
going
college.
the other way. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so for me, it's funny you kind of bring that up. So I personally, my dream job is actually to be a coach.
Oh,
Yes.
So if we have a team here in St. Louis,
Yes.
you and Becky Sauerbrunn,
Yep,
because
you'll
when
catch
she's
me
done,
coaching.
awesome.
Yep. Yeah, so right now, actually, for the past year now, this started last spring, I started coaching my own team at Gallagher. I have 12 6-year-olds by myself.
Oh, that's fun.
Yep, I had 12 6-year-olds.
We're all going this way.
Yep, yep.
Do you tell Patch, just go away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Listen,
you
Get out of here,
Patch
guys.
and
I got
Stitch,
this.
you guys just go over
Yeah,
there.
just
I got
shush.
them. Yeah, yeah. So I started doing that. I had my first team this past
Girls
spring.
or boys?
Girls.
You got hair ties.
Yep.
You know, a lot of hair ties.
All of it.
Great.
The bows. Oh, yeah. A lot of pink, too.
There you go.
So we started, yes, I started that in the spring, had my own team this past spring. 2016s, they were, 2016s.
My youngest is a
Very-
2016.
Very little. We were falling over the ball first day of practice, but that's okay because we were winning games by the end of it, so I was
Okay,
happy.
listen to
Yeah.
this. You hear that?
Yeah.
We were falling our balls, but we were winning
Yeah,
games.
we
So.
were winning. Like, we got there. They improved. That's all I cared about.
Mom, what do you think of Coach Lauren?
Well, she came to Mike and I and said she wanted to do this, and we were kind of like, all right, that's fine, but it's going to be a lot of time, and it's going to, be a lot of time to kind of give up of this supposedly free time that you have. And she was like, no, this is really what I want to do. And we're like, okay, go for it. And so it's been really cute because her players have come to her Nerinx games and cheered her on with signs, and they've came to just different things. And the parents have been very nice to her and given her compliments and things along that line too. So it's kind of making her change the career path she was maybe thinking, but she's very excited to continue on with it.
I'm going to iterate that real quick because I'm going to get on my stuff. Line of sight. JV's heard me say it a million times. Line of sight. So what you give to those girls is something that, it doesn't matter what you go on and do, honestly, but they see something that's, you're kind of like, oh, she just showed me a picture of them hugging them. Now I'm going to cry. Okay, hold on. But is she, oh, jeez, that's so adorable. Oh, my God.
Well, let me
line aside. She's not old. You're not old enough to be mom. You're cooler than moms, right? But you are old enough for them to kind of idolize, even though you're not a pro player yourself. They will never forget that.
Well, that's where I want to jump in here because I think that what you just talked about, super impressive, by the way, because you kind of painted a picture in which you're creating an end game that could last literally for generations, right? I don't want to go that far yet because you're in the mix of things. You look at the professional league locally, you look at some of your peers. How bad do you just want to keep playing, though? Like, through college to pro, is there a desire? Like, give us a little bit of your, focus for you and the game.
Yeah. So for me, I think at the end of the day, like, I want to play as long as my body's going to let me. I do. If my body can get through college and then can play professionally, I want to do that. I obviously at some point will have to stop playing. That's inevitable. But I'm not going to just stop because I want to stop. I want to keep playing. And when I think about,
Well, center backs, though. You're a center back, right?
Yeah.
How old's Tim Ream? 37, 30. I mean, that's 20 years from now.
Right.
Right? And there's the game is advancing. Recovery's advancing. What's a goal for you as a player? Obviously, a national championship. You're going to U of I. You would love to win the Big Ten, get in the big dance, win a national championship. Let's talk about goals for you as a player.
Yeah.
What do you want?
It's kind of funny you say that. So kind of during the recruiting process, actually, one of the questions that a lot of coaches would kind of ask is like, what do you see for yourself? Who do you want to be after college? And so for me, that was always a really loaded question because obviously, kind of like I said, like I want to play soccer as long as I can. Would love to play professionally, whatever route that is, if that's overseas, if that's in the U.S., if that's NWSL, whatever that kind of path takes me. But for me, it was always, my response was always, I just want to leave somewhere better than where I found it. I just want to leave a place better. And if that's through coaching, if that's through playing, if that's through just being a good teammate, I just want to leave a program better. And so kind of tying it back into my little girls, I'm starting another team this spring. I had one in the fall.
Yeah, once they get you coaching.
They got me. They got me hooked. I just think about them and, when their parents kind of ask me, like, what are you going to do? Like, what are your kind of goals? What are your intentions with, like, my kid who was 6, 7, 8 years old? I'm like, I just want him to love it. I just want him to have joy. I just want him to find the joy again because at the end of the day, like, if I could be that coach that I wish I had when I was that age, like, that's all I want to do. I just want to
get real
enjoy
comfortable
it.
fast. Telling parents, leave me alone. Don't do it. Don't do it. Question.
You probably quickly learned that the most valuable person on your staff is the manager that sends the emails. Right?
That's
Shout
right.
out Gallagher management team.
That's
Thank you
right.
for taking care of that for me.
Question for you, coming from being a player, seeing the game only from a player's perspective, which many of us did growing up, and now flipping to a coach, I remember flipping and kind of being like, oh, like I learned some things like I could have actually, what has been an aha as a coach? You trying to now translate this game to somebody younger, who's obviously probably good little athletes, but soccer's, you got to translate it. What have you learned from coaching?
I think the biggest thing I've learned, I know exactly what it is. It's how much words matter. how much what you say to kids matter and how much they take it to heart. And how much
No, you are my
Being to
favorite.
someone.
how much they take it to heart and how much they appreciate what you're saying. And like I kind of said, like, I just want them to love it. I just want them to have fun. Like, I want them to feel comfortable around me. I don't want to be like that scary coach. Like, I want to be that coach that I wish I had when I was 6 and 7. I want to be that person for them. And yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, the biggest thing I've learned is really just what you say matters, how you act around them matters, because they're always listening. They are. They're little. They listen.
Even when they think you think they're not, right?
Even when like they're all the way across the field and I think they can't hear me, they can hear me. So yeah, I think words matter. You know, they take it to heart. They do. They'll remember those things. I still remember things that were said to me when I was in grade school. I do. And so it's kind of just being self-aware and knowing that, you know, words matter. And tell them they're doing great. Tell them you love them. Tell them they're doing awesome. Like, they need it. They deserve it. They're having fun.
Mom Katie, anything you've noticed in Lauren from coaching? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I'm sure there's been a transformation in a way.
Yeah. She's excited to do it, which is funny because, like we said, she was going to give up free time and things like
What
that.
free time?
But, right. But she's really, really excited about going to the practices and the games, and she talks about the team and everything like that. And I think it was really funny. The best game was when she coached against one of her former coaches, and so she was
I'm gonna
like,
take you down.
I did. I coached against. He was like. He
got
was
these
like
girls eating
my
raw
first
meat.
Ever,
Let's go.
Yeah, my first ever club coach. I actually coached against him in one
that's
of
a
my
great
first
story.
games with my team. Yeah.
And so it was really funny because she was like, I was winning, but then he let me know who was, you know.
Yeah, he was like, "You really think I was gonna let you beat me?" And I was like, "Oh no!" And then it went downhill really fast.
Yes, but it was really funny because she was like so excited and so happy to, you know, be out there coaching these girls. And then when I've seen them come to a couple of her games with signs, and just to talk to her and see her, how her face kind of lights up, and it's like she knows this is what she wants to do. So
That's amazing. Who won?
He did.
Dang it. Yeah, it's
He's still
seniority.
he still reminds me of that every time
Yeah.
I see him. So that's good.
We kind of see how this personality was built, right, JB?
I mean, it's so funny because, like, listening to you walk through finding a love for the game, elevating to a level that, you know, competitively club, and then realizing the value of high school and all these things, and learning probably more from those losses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in your whole career, those games, you will never forget those games. As much as you'll remember the national championship, you will never forget the losses. And now you're able to walk onto the field. How old are you? 17?
17, yeah.
As a 17-year-old with a bunch of 6 and 7-year-olds, like, I find it, you're incredibly impressive. Let me just leave it at that.
Thank you.
You're very
Thank you.
impressive because...
I already knew that.
Well, and I think that, like, the parents that are listening to this, just chill out. People like
Yeah,
you.
they better leave you
you're the
alone.
next
Just
gen.
forewarning.
And, you know, because it's like the path needs to be a balance of guardrails, empathy, and just let them be creative and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and kudos to you. Kudos to you, Mom, too. You and Dad and you, the house, because I'm sure you guys have everything to do with it. And Jen.
Right.
I got a little piece. I go back to my text. Do I have time for one quick one?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
One quick. So, how do I say this? Lauren, what has been, now that you've got the perspective of a player, the perspective of a coach, maybe someday if you choose to have a family, there'll be a different little layer. If you think about it as a coach, so thinking as a coach, but being that player, what has been the most helpful, or the things that your coaches and or parents did that are people listening right now? There will be girls your age listening. What do you need? What did you need? What did you not need? What worked? What didn't work from them?
Yeah, I would say, that's a loaded question.
It is a lot.
Wow.
That's why I got it in at the end.
I would say I needed the push,
Oh,
but
okay.
not a bad push. I needed a push in knowing that I could do it. I just had to get myself there. And the people around me, my coaches around me, they were going to push us. They did push us. They still push us. But it's out of love. And it's not because they think we're bad. It's not because they think X, Y, and Z. It's because they know that we can do it. we have to tell ourselves that we can do it. And I had to convince myself that I was good enough and that I could get there. And like looking at my girls now, it's like I look at them and I'm like, I just want you to love it. I just want you to have fun, and I want you to enjoy it, because at the end of the day, like, I'm now sitting here as a 17-year-old about to go to college, looking back at my Gallagher career, and I would give anything for one more year. Anything. We talk about this all the time. My team and I talk about this all the time, how we would redo this year.
You are so going to cry tonight at your senior thing.
I am so going to cry. We would redo this year 1,100,000 times again.
You'd be like
hundreds.
Groundhog Day. You just do it over and over and over
every
again.
single time. And it wasn't all amazing and gorgeous and rainbows and butterflies. It was not. It was hard. We cried. We fought. We yelled at each other. We were mad.
Times you wondered if this was worth it.
Times we wondered when we were like, why are we doing this?
Right.
What are we doing? And then it was all the little things that came together, and the little things of you come to practice smiling, and then you are laughing the entire practice, and you're having fun, and you're loving it, and you're enjoying it. And then we start winning games. And winning more games, and winning national championships, and doing things that never in a million years I could have dreamed of doing. It was just, I'd say it's little things. It really is. It's, yeah.
Mom, you like, so I mean, you've got a kid here. I know you got younger kids. You got a kid that's, matured into an adult. So for the ones that are thinking of Harper's teammates, parents who are a lot younger than me, right? They're 2016s. Wise words from like what you've learned on her journey and what to do, what not to do. As you support these little athletes?
Yeah, I think Mike and I just wanted to support her to help her reach whatever dream she had. And yes, to play club, it was kind of a family thing, especially when the others were playing too, in other sports and along those lines. But it was, she had goals, and it was just us to be there to support her and push her and say, hey, if you really want to do this, what can we do to help you get there? And what do you need from us? And then she kind of took it on her own. So,
well done, Mom.
Yeah.
Kudos
Enjoy
to you.
your senior night.
No,
I kind of want to. I'm going to crash it. I think I'm just going to come.
Yeah, no, I'm. We've done a lot of these up to this point on both sides of the fence, Soccer Dad Pod and Soccer Mom Sunday. I'm impressed. You've got a bright future.
Thank you.
I really wish you the best.
Thank you.
So that's that.
all right.
Thanks.
When are you having tryouts? I need Harper to come play for you.
I mean,
No, I'm
just
sorry.
let me know.
I love
Send me a
Lupe.
text.
Yeah, thank you. Best of luck, Illinois State. University
Yes.
of
What are
Illinois.
you
doing?
Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I will never do that again.
Illini. Just say Illini.
Illini. Yeah, my wife went there for first half. Yeah, I should have known better. I'm an East Sider too. I know that stuff.
That's your state, man.
Hey, we're on our way here. If you thank you guys. Best of luck tonight at
Thank
senior
you.
night. If you liked this episode, like it. If you really liked it, give us a review. And if you really, really liked it, call Jen. She'll talk to you about it. MC Jen, we're out of here. Metal
out.
Mushroom. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.